Include these powerful books in your library. The Holy Quran, Maulana Muhammad Ali translation.
Special Spokesman by Brother Jabril Muhammad. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews by the Nation of Islam Research Department. And the following titles by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Message to the Black Man, How to Eat to Live, Parts 1 and 2. The Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived. Records, videotapes, and audio tapes. Subscribe to the Final Call newspaper, the most widely circulated black newspaper in the world, the voice of truth. Advertise in the Final Call newspaper and expose your message to an aware, action-oriented readership. Support the 3-year economic program launched by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan on October 7, 1991. Designed to address the critical needs of the black community in the upcoming years, your monthly $10 contribution will help to establish farms and businesses that will meet the necessities of life and lay the foundation for our economic survival. Send your $10 a month donation to the 3-year economic program, 4855 South Woodlawn Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60615.
Careless lifestyles are killing us in droves across all ages. The merchants of death dump filth daily into our communities, and we put it into our bodies. It is best to make the most of this life and empower ourselves through healthful living. Let me share my thoughts with you on this special video. Call now to order.
Get Farrakhan's program for better health and the story behind his bout with cancer. To order, call now.
312-602-1230.
That's what I'm talking about.
At last, the hottest book of the decade is now here. A Torchlight for America by Minister Louis Farrakhan is the long-awaited book that offers true guidance and solutions to problems facing America. Written in clear, direct language, A Torchlight for America is required reading for those seeking the truth. Order your copy of A Torchlight for America. Send $12 plus $4 shipping and handling, check or money order to Final Call Inc., 734 West 79th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60620, or call 312-602-1230. Minister Louis Farrakhan, the man that tens of thousands come to hear all across America, presents his first ever women's-only address.
You are a greater treasure than any treasure that can be found in the depth of the sea.
Make check or money order payable to Final Call Inc., 734 West 79th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60620.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. I bear witness that there is but one God, and I bear witness to Jesus and Muhammad and all of the great worthies who came in the great line of divine. We prepare and begin this particular session of our meeting as the minister is now arriving in the name of Allah and in the name of his messenger, Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, as we prepare for the minister, we have to understand that we are now embarking upon the beginning of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for this period and dispensation that is to take us higher and higher and to take us closer and closer, that we might come, as the scriptures say, face to face with God himself. So tonight the minister is going to take us into Yakub's history. As he comes in, before we prepare for Yakub's history, just a word about the man who is coming before us to take us into Yakub's history. For the minister is charged and commissioned by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to fulfill and complete his work. And as a young boy, the minister, with his uncle, as a young boy, studied the condition of black people and was born in the year 1933. May 11th, 1933. This is the year and around the time that Master Farad Muhammad was getting ready to leave his student, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, here impregnated with the divine truth and message that no other man had ever been given before. And he told him that he was leaving him with the hardest job that any man had ever been charged with before. This is what Master Farad Muhammad told the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Around that time that Master Farad Muhammad was getting ready to leave his student, Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan was born into the world. Born into the world at a time when the atmosphere was right and a union had taken place between the great Mahdi, Master Farad Muhammad, and his divine warner and man in the midst of the people, his guide, his leader and teacher that he would leave for the people. That union was being consummated. That union was being completed. Now that's his physical birth. His spiritual birth was in the year 1955. And from 1555 to 1955 represents 400 years, fulfilling the prophecy of the Bible of a people who would go into bondage for 400 years. Minister Farrakhan came to physical birth during the time that Master Farad Muhammad was consummating his divine relationship with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he came to spiritual birth at the time in the very same year that the end of the 400-year period of our sojourn and under a system of slavery, suffering, and death under the worst and most cruel beast and enemy that the world had ever seen. So that's a physical and a spiritual birth. And as a young boy with his uncle, painting over the condition of black people, you remember he told us how he asked his uncle to help him up in a chair so that he could drink in the features of a black man hanging on the wall of his uncle, and that black man turned out to be the Honorable Marcus Garvey. He says that he cried that day, just as a young boy, because he wanted to make a people and see a people unlike the people of his forefathers who had been under the yoke of oppression and bondage of the white man, and under the yoke of oppression and bondage of an immoral, indecent, and unrighteous system of things that had existed throughout the earth. So he wanted to see a new world order. And he was born, the point that I'm coming to, he's a child that was born with a determined idea to make a people unlike the people that his father and his forefathers had been before him. He was born with a determined idea, and that idea was nurtured and nourished. And ultimately, it grew to the man and the stage of today that we see him in and the plane that he is on, a man who now is studying the nature of the black nation, the nature of the black man and black woman after having been prepared by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And under his spiritual microscope, he's studying that germ of life, that atom of life in the nature and the makeup of the black nation, the black man and black woman, that it might be isolated, driven to its last stage, not in the negative direction, but driven to its last stage in the positive direction, that as one who came over 6,660 years ago was isolating a germ and driving it to its last stage in the negative direction to make a devil, he is charged with the commission today to complete the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and drive it in the positive direction to its last stage, that a new people might be born and a new people might come into existence. The minister has arrived, and I'm sure he is on his way. and we are all anxious to hear from him on this very timely subject. We get this subject from Message to the Black Man, the great and illuminating book of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, beginning on page 103, under the heading, The Making of the Devil. I'm sure that he will cover that history and then some, that he will take us into that history and then take us up, up, up in that history to a higher plane. Oh, I thought that was him coming through the door. Is he back there? Said to be in a minute. It's hard for me not to begin to teach Yakub's history, but we're all here tonight to be taught Yakub's history, to be taught Yakub's history in a way that those who have studied it, that it ties us in with it closer, and those who have not studied it before, we will hear it from a plane that we have known it before, from others who have fed our growth in the Nation of Islam, even if we hadn't studied it, and from another perspective that will take us deeper into the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And from this man, a new teaching is being born. You will remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to him, he said, brother, if you are faithful while I am gone, I will reveal the new teaching through you. This note says that the minister will not be here in a minute, but that he will be here in a few minutes. Which means that he's still on his way. But for an old pro and a veteran, 10 more minutes to keep from going into the subject, staying away from the subject completely, and yet holding your attention until he arrives shouldn't be much of a problem with the blessing and help of Allah. And you look very pleasant anyway, and you're encouraging to me now that I know I have 9 extra minutes in addition to that 1 minute that I thought I had. But brothers and sisters, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to the minister, he said, if you are faithful, I will reveal the new teaching through you when I return. He said, what I have given to you, brother, is but a wake-up message. And in the Bible, Peter is told by Jesus, he says, Satan, the devil, desires you, and he wants to sift you as wheat. But in the scripture, it goes further to say to him, but I have prayed for you, that your faith will not fail you altogether, and when you have returned to me, go and strengthen your brethren. The minister is charged with that today. He has been faithful through the night. We all bear witness to that. Or do we all bear witness to that? I bear witness to that. Do you bear witness to that? He has been faithful through the night, and the new teaching is to come through him. A new teaching that is to make a new people. A new teaching that is to be placed at the cornerstone of a new world order. And before there can be a new world order, there has to be a new order of thinking, a new order of acting, a new mode of conduct. And that is the mission that Minister Farrakhan is charged with. So again, he has us under that spiritual microscope, studying that germ of life or atom of life in us, the black nation. And under that microscope, we here from the Final Call building are beginning to see better and better and clearer our position and our condition, where we have come from, where we are, and where we are headed in this new order that is being established that will place us at the cornerstone. Brothers and sisters, as the minister comes, what I would like to do, because I was prepared only to open up for him maybe 2 minutes, bring him right on. And I never like to just rap, you know what I mean? Or just talk.
because this is a very serious work. I cannot take you deeper into what we have come for, because that is what I am here for, and that is what you are here for. We're all here to hear that from him tonight, to determine the depth that he will take us and the height that he will take us in this subject on Yakub's history. I wish I could actually open up for certain basic comments and questions at this point. I'm hoping that he is going to have a question and answer period after his subject tonight. And I'm going to ask him or attempt to pass him a note requesting that, because several of you have come to me asking if we will ask the minister for a question and answer period. It is conceivable that we may even do in the near future what we have done in the past. And that is where the minister has actually, from New York he did it especially, where he would take the entire radio broadcast and just answer questions and open up the lines to the public. And the public would just call in. He would not do a lecture that day. They would just call in. So and so and so from Harvey asked Minister Farrakhan such and such. So I don't have to fight with this cold any longer. The minister is here, and as I said earlier, one who we look at today as one who was a child born of destiny, and from all that we have studied of him and know of him and have come to learn of him, was a child that was born with a determined idea to make the condition of his people better, and to isolate certain facets, certain factors in our lives, in the black nation, isolate it, drive it to its final and ultimate stage, which is to ultimately take us face to face with God himself. I present to you that one who is to complete and fulfill the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in our midst of making a new people for a new world order. Minister Louis Farrakhan, would you please receive him?
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. Dear brothers and sisters, I am very thankful to Allah for the privilege of looking into your very beautiful faces once again. Thank you so much for coming out. My goodness, they're up on the third balcony. Thank you very much. Tonight, I want to talk with you. It's a very serious night. I have some very serious things I want to say, and some very serious things I want to do. And we don't need the air conditioning on, do we? We do? Is it that hot? Just turn the heat off and open the windows a little bit, but don't put the air on. Because I have a cold and some others in here. I don't want you to get sick. But I thank Allah that there's some heat in here. This fella that ruined the boiler for us, whoever that person is, thank you. There is in the Bible and the Quran something that I want to share with you tonight. Nothing happens except by the will of God. whether that will is active, meaning that God actively sets it into motion, or he permits it to come about, nothing happens except by the will of God. So the first verse of the Holy Quran reads, Alhamdulillah. All praise belongs to God. So we can say that God is the ultimate cause of all things. The things that happen in our lives that are not good, God still is over and responsible for those things. Is God responsible for evil? Yes. He is not evil, but he has to take the responsibility because nothing happens except by his permission. So the Quran says of the attitude of a really righteous person, whenever a misfortune comes into their lives, they say, we are Allah's. We belong to him. He is our patron, and to him is our eventual return. In all of our lives, there are things that happen that we don't have any control over, and they're not always good. In fact, some things that happen in our lives are pretty evil. Sometimes we get so hurt, we question God and ask him, why? Why this terrible thing in my life? I mean, if you're such a righteous God and such a good God, why would you allow or permit such evil to come into my life? Or maybe you're not a righteous God at all, we think sometimes, and maybe you're just not worthy to be served because you do so many evil things to people. You allow so much evil to come into the world. Maybe you didn't think like that, but there are a lot of people who do think like that, and at some point you may have thought like that too. But the correct attitude, the Quran says, when a misfortune befalls you, you say, well, God, this is terrible, but we are Allah's. I am Allah's. And whatever he brings into my life, I know that ultimately Allah is the God of righteousness. He's a God of good and not of evil. So even this evil that has come into my life, if I am patient and with firm resolve face it, the end will make me better than I am now. Job is a good example. Job was a righteous servant of God, but God turned Job into the hands of Satan to try him. Evil then came into Job's life. Is that right? Job lost his family, he lost his wealth, he ended up losing his friends, his wife, his health, but he wouldn't curse God. He said in essence, God, I am yours. And I know that trouble won't last always. I'm going to wait until my change comes. So he held on to his faith in the ultimate goodness of God. And in the end, he came out better than he was prior to this great evil or trial that came into his life. I want to establish the fact that God is responsible. But we don't like to charge God.
but yet he's responsible. You say, but the white man made us a slave. I say, but God is responsible. But the white man lynched us. I said, but God is responsible. You said, but the evil that this white man poured on us for 6,000 years, I said, but God is responsible. Now, if you don't have the courage to look at God, then how can you grow into the wisdom of God? If you don't have the courage to say, well, I know this is a creature. He ain't creator. And this creature is raising hell on the earth, and we are suffering because of this hell from this creature. So we have a tendency to look at the creature. Let's look past the creature to the creator. And well, God, why you bring this into our life? I mean, is there something wrong with you, God? Have we done something to displease you? I mean, we catching it. We know that the white man been doing this a long time, God. And evidently, you must approve it because you keep him in power to keep raising hell. I want to know, God, what's wrong with you? Or is this part of some plan or something that I don't know nothing about? Maybe you can break me in on it. Give me some understanding. Then maybe I can accept this evil and say, God, I'm yours. And whatever you bring, you are my patron. And to you is my eventual return. And maybe I can see past this evil into something ultimately good. Now that that fact, I hope, is established, move on to point number 2. Point number 2 is this. On October the 7th, you heard me say that this universe is created, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us, in 6 periods of time. So the universe and we in the universe are under the number 6. God made man, right? Made the heavens and earth according to the Bible, 6 days. So the Bible and the Quran in this sense agree, but it's not a 24-hour day. These days represent billions and trillions of years. Now, this number 6 means dissatisfaction, imperfection, and incompletion. Anything that is incomplete, you cannot be satisfied with it. You don't half do a painting and say, I'm satisfied. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Or wash the dishes, and you wash a dish or 2 dishes and leave the rest and say, I'm satisfied, I'm finished. See, nature does not allow you to look at that which is incomplete and be satisfied with that which is incomplete, because that which is incomplete is undone, unfinished, unaccomplished, imperfected. So it breeds dissatisfaction until it is completed. You agree? Yes, sir. Dissatisfaction is the mother of change. You want to change? You don't want to change if you're satisfied. If you are satisfied, then that dissatisfaction nurtures a mental attitude that brings about a desire to change the situation that we're dissatisfied with. Is that correct? Yes, sir. All right. If that fact is true, yet Allah says in the first verse of the Quran, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Praise belongs to God, the originator of a creation and the nurturer of that creation, making it attain stage after stage until it reaches its eventual perfection. So
God's will then is that all things be perfect. The New Testament says it like this, Jesus speaking, be ye perfect even as I am perfect. So Jesus, acting from the will of God, is using these words that are the creative words that God uses throughout creation, kun fayakun, be, setting it in motion, and in time it is. So God wants perfection. Now then, he puts you in a process. Listen. That process that brings about perfection is not ease. Come on now. The process that brings about perfection is a process of growing more and more into a deeper and deeper knowledge of self. For he who knows self knows God. He who knows God knows self. So a perfect knowledge of self is the prerequisite to becoming a perfect human being. When you and I are made perfect, then from our minds a perfect world can emerge. And when we have a perfect world, we have a world without end. Because perfection is perpetual motion. Perfection is motion devoid of friction. Perfection is perpetual motion. You follow? Yes, sir. Everything in the universe is dying. The scholars and scientists agree. The sun is dying, the moon is dying, the stars are dying, the earth is dying. Everything is dying. Why? Because it is imperfect. The motion of its activity and the friction because of the imperfect design of it. The wobble in the earth, it is oblong and not round, creates a friction, but the law that it obeys minimizes the friction, therefore death comes exceedingly slow to the planetary world, you see? But nevertheless, dying is inevitable. But if God wants a perfect world, and he said there will be a new heaven and a new earth, he has to make a perfect man, and from that perfect man will come a perfect world, a new heaven and a new earth. For man, with the power and the wisdom of God, can create and originate and reproduce creation. Yeah, you got a lot of juice, you got a lot of power, but there's something wrong with all of us. Something wrong. See, when God created the heavens and the earth, he created negative and positive. That dialectic is present in all of creation. And it is that dialectic that keeps everything in motion. What some call the yin and the yang, or whatever they call it, it's this pull. It's a constant friction. It's in your life. Every day we are in a struggle. And you're not struggling against somebody else. You're struggling against some force within yourself that circumstances manifest that you didn't even know exist. And then when you struggle and you are overcome by a force that is present in your own being, you learn something more about yourself. Oh man, I succumbed to that. I got to get the strength to overcome it. There's always a source for strength to overcome, but oftentimes we are overcome by something within ourselves. Now, I want to point something out to all the students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad based upon his teaching, which is exceedingly profound. I want to help us to understand this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said to us that, of course, black people are the original people of the earth. I don't think any wise scholar today will argue with him. That was not given to us for racist purposes. It was given to tell you and me that we are the base and the origin of life in the universe. That's wonderful to know, that all human beings have their origin in you, and you have your origin in God, but still you need to be perfected. And God has put original man on the path and in the process that will ultimately give him the most profound knowledge of himself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says 66 trillion years ago. That's a long time. One of our scientists, who was a god named Shabazz, he wanted to get all of the people of the then called moon to speak one dialect. He couldn't do it. He became frustrated. He decided to destroy the whole population of the planet. He drills a shaft in the then called moon, according to the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 2/3 of the way into the planet. He drills a shaft and fills it with high explosive. Now look at this. Now he's a wise scientist. Now surely Allah saw it. Surely Allah knew it. This man is going off. Well, he's a great scientist, yeah, but he's going off. This fool is drilling a hole in the planet. You don't drill a hole into the planet nearly 2/3 of the distance and nobody know what's going on. Especially if you're a foreseeing, foreknowing God. You say, oh, what is he doing? The God evidently saw it and said, yeah, this is pretty bad. Now, this man's going to fill it with explosive, set it off. This is going to kill a lot of people. Yes, God said, let it be. Yeah, but wait a minute, God, what are you doing? Don't you love life? Don't you have any compassion for human life, God? I mean, you're going to let this nut destroy the planet? He said, let it be. So the man set it off and blew a piece of this planet off. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it went out. I think it was 10,000 miles from its original pocket, right? And dropped 12,000 and dropped 36,000 miles until it started rotating in its present orbit. Now here's the Earth and that moon out there. All the water from that part fell on this part. So you have, when you look at the moon, you see these tremendous, caverns in the moon, craters in the moon that show that if you could empty all the water from the earth, you would see a great crater where the Pacific Ocean is, a great crater where the Atlantic Ocean is, a small crater where the Mississippi River is and the Amazon River, and all these great oceans and rivers would be craters in the earth. But when you look up at the moon, you see craters in the moon showing that the moon once had water, but now she has none, so the earth is 3/4 water and 1/4 land. So 3/4 of our surface is covered with water. The moon has none. Now that's a terrible thing for God to do or allow to be done. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it happened. Well, I began to study that. And I said, now, one day the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me, he said, the wisdom of the black man is so great that his own wisdom is a checkmate against self-destruction. He can't kill himself, even if he tries. So anytime the white man thinks about destroying black folk, that's a lost cause. That's just not going to happen. He'll kill a lot of us, but he ain't got enough juice to kill all. That just will not happen, has not happened. Greater and wiser people than him have tried this before, and it don't work. But what is the lesson that God is teaching? There are forces in us that we've got to learn to handle. And one of them is frustration and disappointment over your inability to do something that you want to do. Come on, let's reason. Let's look. Now, every one of us want to do something in life. Every one of us feel at some point, I know this is the right thing to do, I can do it, I've got the ability, and it's going to be done. And you sink all your resources and your time, and all of a sudden, it don't happen. How do you handle that? How do you handle frustration? How do you handle the bitterness of disappointment when you are unable to meet your own expectation from yourself? Now, a great scientist went off, and he worked out his frustration by killing up a lot of folk. But look at the hand of God. I want to just give you an idea of what I'm coming to something. Just bear with me a little bit, just a little bit. God's wisdom is so far-reaching. He said, let it be. Oh, I don't know how many millions of lives were lost, but what was good out of an evil circumstance was that the moon was made. And that moon now, trying to get back the water that it lost, continues to pull on the waters of the earth, bringing us the clearest sign of equality. And so we put the moon in the flag. Look at this. Now this is the flag of Islam. Oh boy, y'all got it pinned. I understand. I ain't gonna fool with that. But here's the crescent moon. Now if it was so evil, why would it be in the universal flag of Islam? Yet the man that did it went off, but God said, I know what he knows not. He's going to go off, but what he does, I'm going to allow that evil to manifest something good and beneficial to life itself. So even though millions of lives may have been lost in the process of getting a better knowledge of self, something better was produced that can prolong life. So the loss of life in acquiring knowledge is justifiable. Ooh. Ooh. Jesus gave his life for the truth. So truth must be more important than the life of such a holy and righteous servant of God as Jesus. Knowledge and truth is above your life. So men and women give their lives for the sake of truth. Is that right? Yes. So then if lives are lost to bring us closer to the ultimate truth, the perfect knowledge of God and self, then that is a magnificent sacrifice that will ultimately show that there is no life that is not in vain. That life was spent for the purpose of getting a better knowledge of self and a better knowledge of God. Now, disappointment is something that you're still wrestling with. How many times have you been frustrated? And the power of frustration actually twists your intelligence. Come on now, let's reason together. I'm coming to something. I just want you to bear with me. Just relax now, because I ain't going to be here too long, but all night. I mean, no. Y'all with me so far? Look, have you seen frustration actually twist your intelligence? Have you seen people get so frustrated that they do things that later they regret and they think it's very rational? The people that commit suicide, I mean, they have a very rational reason to them. And they write it down, "Dear Sam, I'm so frustrated with life. I've tried so hard, so I'm going up on the Sears Tower today and end it all. May God be with you." And here's somebody jumping off into a law of gravity that they can't defy. A law of falling bodies that fall at 32 feet per second. Every time a second goes by, it multiplies 32 feet. And this man is coming straight for the pavement. Rationally. Rationalize his life away to show you what disappointment and frustration of your own goals and objectives can cause you to twist your intelligence, and you become a maniac, a fool, because you couldn't handle disappointment. You couldn't handle the frustration of your will, your desires. But if only we could say, "I am Allah's." And maybe, "Allah, this was not meant for me. Help me to see what is. But I'm yours and you are my patron, and to you is my eventual return. I'm going to hang in here until my change comes." You understand what I'm saying? All right, now. But as black people, we got a lot wiser, because we learned that even the scientists, the holy wise scientists, the gods, can get frustrated and blow their minds. So that means nobody's safe. Nobody's exempt from trial. Let's move on down. I'm just picking this up quickly. 50,000 years ago, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that there was another scientist named Shabazz, one of the gods, who, when we say gods, I mean a man of supreme wisdom, great intelligence, and power. He wanted to make a people close to nature that could conquer the jungle life of East Asia, which we now call Africa. The other scientists didn't agree with him. And instead of his submission to them, he rebelled. He said, "Hey, look, I know this can be done, and I'm going to do it." Well, you know, some of us are like that. Some of us have determined ideas. Everyone else may disagree with us, but we say, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyhow. Whatever the consequences, I'll take it. So, I mean, you like that. So these big boys, they like that too. So this man had a determined idea. Said he's going to do this thing. They said, fine, but you just won't do it here with us. You take your family down into the jungle of East Asia, and you go ahead and make your people. Well, he did. He went. And he experimented with human life. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that's the origin of kinky hair. Your hair wasn't always like this. Your nose wasn't always this flat. Your lips wasn't always this thick. This is the work of a scientist of ours who wanted to strengthen the black man in such a way that he could conquer the life of the jungle, the wildlife. And we mastered that thing. I mean, you go to Africa now, your people have mastered that. They can trap the lions, trap the animals, master the animals. They live with the animals. They mastered the jungle life. But look at the toll that it took on. I mean, now Shabazz's people are the laughing stock of the whole world because he made you different from other black people. The whole world is full of black people, but not black people like you. You got black people in Africa today that have straight hair, real dark, keen features, ain't never been mixed with a white man. And those black people that you will find in some parts of Africa, in some parts of the Middle East, in some parts of the Indian subcontinent, they look at what is called the African black man with disdain. You are scorned and hated all over the world. No, nobody like this kinky, woolly-headed black man. Did you hear me? Yes, sir. Not only white people don't like you. Nobody likes us. Yeah, and that's the worst part. We don't like ourselves. But that's a fact, brother. Don't nobody like us. You go into the islands of the South Pacific, those are dark people. They don't go for you. I know sometimes it's nice to feel that you're loved by everybody. Because, you know, dark people outnumber white people on this earth 11-1. But all the dark people of the earth are not of the tribe of Shabazz. They are not of this tribe, this woolly-headed fella. Now, this woolly-headed fella, he's stretched out from Africa into the Isles of the Pacific, into the Caribbean. He's everywhere, but wherever he is, he's in bad shape. There's no place that that boy is that he's in good shape. He's in bad shape. And he's in need of resurrection. But what Shabazz did, he produced something. Even though mentally we lost in this. We lost, when I say mentally, I mean part of the beating for rebellion is lack of guidance. Doesn't mean that your mental capacity is destroyed, but you don't have the guidance to build civilization. That's the point. I mean, we suffered from this, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we have not had our day as black people in 50,000 years. But what kind of people did time produce? See? So God said, I know what you know not. I'm going to let it be. But what I'm going to produce in this letting it be is a people that are the strongest of the strong. There will never has been a people as strong as this woolly-headed black man. I'm talking about physical construction. I'm talking about construction of his skin, his blood, his bones. This is a super phenomenal being that he's made like nature itself. You know how nature is? Nature is indestructible. You trample the black man, just crush him. He come right back at you, boom, like spring, you know, next year. He pops up like winter never was, you know. I tell you the truth, brother.
I heard you had to pay this at a long time.
Has undergone and could undergo what you and I have undergone to prove the wisdom of God, that you are made physically a superior people. And all white folk, they're scared to death of you. That's right, that's right. It's really fair. We don't like these black folk. Why you don't like them? Because, good God, if we turn them loose, we won't exist anymore. That's why we don't want them messing around with our women. Because if they get our woman, there ain't no more of us. One drop of them cats' blood, and they changed the thing up. Hell, we even come in the black neighborhood and get a black woman, and we can't make a white child even though it's our seed. She fixes my seed up till it's like them. You just powerful. They're afraid of you. Genetically, biologically, you're really superior. And that you should know. But in terms of guidance, you are inferior. And that's only for a season and for a definite reason. Now let's move on quickly. Now this black man, look, now let's go on. We're going to say something here. I want you to think about it. In these last lectures I've been given, I wanted you to see that evil didn't start with white folks. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Evil didn't start with no white people, man. Evil been here a long time. And if the white man came from us, then he is the manifestation of something that is wrong with us. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty of this thing. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. I want you to hang with me just a couple more minutes. Now, remember what we said in the beginning. God wants man perfected. Man cannot be perfected unless he's tried under every circumstance, and he is fully manifested. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that Bible and Quran, these books, are written in cycles of 25,000 years. Some of our holy scientists, the book of Revelations, call them the 24 elders. But these scientists, there are 23 of them that actually do the work of writing the history. And they don't write it like they go in a book and write down, this is the way it's going to be 5,000 years from now, 10,000 years. We're just making something up and we'll put some abracadabra on and say, let it be. No, these are scientists who can listen to the thinking of the people. They listen to your thinking. Then they multiply your thinking and show what your thinking will produce in actual events. And what these events will produce in men that will shape these events, and men that will come out of these events to do this and this and this. And before you know it, they've written the history of the entire nation. One time I was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and somebody asked him, well, how can they see that far? He said, do you see this pen? Can you see this pen? Yes, sir. How many pens do I have? One. Okay. Can you see two pens? No, sir. Come on now. This pen is what you can see. With your mind's eye, can you multiply this pen and see two? Yes, sir. Can you see three? Yes, sir. Can you see four? Yes, all you had to do was start with one, then all you do is keep multiplying and you can see as many as you wish to see. What makes you able to say to your boy, boy, if you keep that up, this is going to happen to you. You ain't no prophet. What were you using? Come on. Mathematics. You were multiplying his action and his thoughts, and you can see what those thoughts and those actions were going to lead to, and you can predict events that's going to take place in the child's life, and you say, boy, you better watch yourself. Huh? Well, if you can do it on your little level, what do you think the holy wise scientists can do who can listen to populations think and know what their thoughts will produce and write the history that we call Bible or Quran for 25,000 years into the future? And when a portion of that book is to be revealed, one of the major scientists, either in a vision or a dream, or they come directly to the person or the prophet that is to correct the situation and give them a piece of the writing called scripture. These books are written in advance of what happens. And they're not written by people who don't see. These people who write Bible and Quran, they know what's going to happen. And you can't make them liars. They can see. All right, now listen to me well. It's very important. And you can't make them liars. They can see. All right, now listen to me well. It's very important. Everybody all right? Yes, sir. I'm trying to move as fast as I know how, but covering the point. I'm coming to something very significant. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says when the scientists went out and sampled the thinking of the people, they saw that in the year 8,400 of this present cycle, a man would be born named Yakub, born with a determined idea to make a new people on this earth, a new people that would be strange and different from any people that had ever been on this planet before. And that this people that he would make would rule with a contrary civilization that would wreak havoc on the earth. And when they brought their findings back to Allah, the judge, he looked at it. He could have said, we don't want this. He said, let it be. Why are you going to allow all this suffering? Because it's going to manifest human nature to its fullest, and it will test the people under evil to see whether evil is as productive in their lives as good. So that at the end of this experiment, each of them will know that evil is not the way that they should go, but you must choose righteousness. And the only way you will choose righteousness voluntarily is that you must suffer enough under evil. But the evil that you see in operation, ultimately you must come to know that it springs from yourself. And then not only will you call for the destruction of this evil world, but you will call for the destruction of the evil in yourself that this is the manifestation of. Then you are ready to be made whole, perfect. Yakub was not wicked. Yakub was born with a determined idea. Stop right there. Determined, past participle. If he was born, he didn't determine the idea. to do with it. So what the hell you blaming Yakub for? Somebody bigger than Yakub had determined that he was the one to be born out of the dissatisfaction of the masses. 30% of them were dissatisfied, to bring about a change that would affect the entire earth. So a child was born genetically prepared to do a work that would shake the entire world. His name was Yakub, a black scientist. And that young boy at 6 years old saw, as he was playing in the sand with two pieces of metal, he saw one attracting the other under its power. And he said, when I grow up, I'm going to make a people unalike, who will attract the original and rule it. Before he was 18 years old, or at 18, he finished all the schools of his day. And he studied biology, genetics. And he discovered in the germ of the black man that he could produce color. We don't call you colored. We call you black, the essence of all color. And at one time, there was no brown.
All right. That's right.
There was no red.
All right.
There was no yellow.
Cage.
It was just us, the original people. Now you say, well, I don't believe that. How old are the Chinese? Tell me what their calendars say. How old are the Japanese? Tell me what their calendars say. They're not but a little over 6,000 years old. The Indian, the people that you call Indians, they are not the brown man. They're not the yellow man. They are the so-called red man, but they're not red. They're original people. They predated all these other races on the earth. They and us are original people. Well, how long have we been here? Well, we don't have no calendar. You don't go among the Indians and ask them, where's your calendar giving us your birth? He said, I don't know. I just been here. With the earth, with Mother Earth and Father Sky. I just been here. Where's your birth record, black man? I don't know. Nothing about no birth record for me. Ever since I came into consciousness, I was here, and before me there was me. The sun don't show my beginning, because I am a people that was before there was a sun. Before there was a moon and a star, I, the black man, was. And I am, and I shall be. There's no end to me. I am from the beginning, from God. I am his first act of creation. But I was imperfect. And he put me in the process of perfection. Therefore, I had to experience everything of myself to have a complete and thorough knowledge of myself. Because only when I know myself perfectly and completely can I be made whole, and from me a perfect heaven, a new heaven, and a new earth that have no ending will come into existence, but I must be made perfect. So Allah said that in the beginning, that I would be perfect, we would be perfect, but we didn't know the process. There was a lot of pain involved, a lot of death involved, but all of that death served the process of life, because it gave us a greater knowledge of truth and understanding of self and understanding of God. And so in the Quran, listen, Muslims, God is talking to the angels. And he said to the angels, I'm going to place a ruler in the earth.
Yes, sir.
And the angels start talking back to God. What are you going to place in it except that which will create mischief and cause the shedding of blood? We extol your holiness. We know you're holy. We know you're righteous. But why would you do a thing like this? He said, I know what you know not, let it be. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a white man was grafted from you. Right. He's called a sucker.
Come on.
Now, I'm not being vulgar. He's a sucker.
Yes, sir.
What is a sucker? something that has no root in itself. No root. So you cut into a tree that is sucking from the earth, and you graft a shoot into the tree, and then it sucks from the life of the tree to make its own life. Paul said, Paul said, you should not boast against these, for you were a wild olive branch grafted in among the original. This is the white man. He's not natural. He was grafted into a people that were already here, and all the life that he got, he sucked it from you and me, and our Father talked back to me. Yeah. He's a sucker. And he sucks today. Where's there some life for me, I'll go suck it up. Niggas got some knowledge I want, I'll go in and suck from them. And he draws from us till he gets strong. And then he boasts against the thing that he sucked from and gained his strength. He was living up in Europe. That's right. Eating the bark of trees, eating juniper roots, eating flesh raw, laying around with the dogs. If there were 2 of them, the dog was the 3rd. If there were 3 of them, the dog was the 4th. If there were 4 of them, the dog was the 5th. I'm talking about the Caucasian. In the north, in the cave, facing the north, didn't see the sun rise in the east or set in the west, and since you don't have no light in a dark cave, he grew hair all over himself like the other animals. Listen! Listen, black man, I ain't got time to mock no other human being. I just want you to know what came from yourself, so you know what's in you. A beast came from you because there's a beast in you that you got to get under control. But the white man is the manifestation of all the crap that ever was in you and in me. You're looking at it walking around now. It got flesh and form. And it give you hell because that evil of yourself gives you hell. God wanted you to see evil from yourself in a living form. Then he would put your true nature to sleep to allow the weaker part of yourself to dominate you, to show you why you must gain control of the weakness of yourself, so that in getting control of the weakness of yourself, you've already conquered the white man, because he came from the weakness of you. Yakub made him, and I mean he made him. Grafted him out of us, starting with the brown and the yellow, then the white. Every one of them, he made them liars and murderers. So the white man is born a liar. He's born to murder. He's got a propensity to murder. He asks himself the question, why do I kill like this? I'm not like any other species, any animal. The animals kill because they're hungry. I kill for the love of killing. So the Bible calls him the blood shedder. He don't care nothing about life. No, sir. He's the destroyer of life. I'm talking about the Caucasian. The prophets came to him, he killed them. That's right. That's right. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he's the real devil of your Bible. But he's the devil that didn't come out of space. Came out of you. Let me talk about this devil a minute. Look, man. What I'm trying to get you to see is not something to hate white people. Right. That's not the point of this lecture. No, sir. Point is that the Quran says, I created color. This is God talking. I gave you your different hues. See, he's telling you, my hand is over Yakub's. My mind is over his. I wanted you to see that as I produce color in the plants, and I produce color in the flowers and I produce color in the rocks. I can produce color in life, in human life, but I have to bring it from an original source, and you are the source from which all human beings of color came. But he didn't bring them out of you for you to masquerade superiority or for them to walk around inferior. He says, I made you into tribes and families that you may know one another. See, God puts knowledge above it all. Yes, it's painful. Hell yeah, it's painful. But there's no price too much to pay for knowledge. The more you know, the stronger you are. The more you understand, the more power you can extract from what you know. Then there is no barrier before you become God. The thing that impedes you from growing to God is the impediment of your lack of knowledge. Therefore, when God introduces himself in the Quran, he says, Alif Lam Mim, I am the best knower. You want to come to me? Come up in knowledge, but there's a price you got to pay. I know I'm running over this quickly, and I should really take my time, but time is against us all. The Caucasian had to have come. If the Caucasian did not come, we would not have today this profound knowledge of ourselves. For in looking at this man, we see the worst of ourselves. You actually have the capacity to outdo him in evil because you are the original. And today you are outstripping the white man in the manifestation of wickedness. This white man that ruled you showed that you got evil in you because he couldn't bring it out of you if it wasn't in you. See, he made a freak out of you. Look at this, look at this, look at this. You, the original people of the earth, walking around, twisting. How did that happen, brother? How did you get to be such funny fellow? It's because that's in you. How did you get to be a lesbian, sis? You can't bring it out if it ain't in. How did you get to be a liar, a thief, an adulteress, a fornicator, a murderer, a backbiter, a slanderer? You all of that. We all of that, right? How did you get that way? Unless it was in you. The white man brought it out. He gave you a civilization where it's easy to be wrong, hard as hell to be right. Is that right? You do right in this world, you catch it. You do wrong, hey, people, help you out. Hey, man, I want to do wrong, I'll help you. You want to rob a bank, I'll help you. I'll help you plan the job. I know that business. You want to do right, oh, nigga, get out of here. This is the world, man. You the people of God. But you turn completely inside out. Where heaven is hell, and hell is heaven to you. When death is life and life is death, you've been turned upside down. This is to prove that if you allow the weakness of yourself to get dominance over you, it will turn your knowledge upside down. And even though you think yourself to be intelligent, you will begin to act like a fool because you submitted to the weaker part of yourself. Now let's deal with a few things. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Feeling pretty good. Now, wait now. We're at the end now. We're at the end. I just want you to bear with me. Look. Look at these words in the Quran. Do you know that the Quran, my sister Tanetta Muhammad and I were wrangling over this morning at about 5 o'clock. Over coffee, we were talking about the angels, Iblis and Shaitan, all these names that the Quran uses, these are not names of people. No. These are names of qualities in human nature that are forces that need to be controlled. Listen to me, please. God, talking to the angels, he said, I'm going to make a man. They say, fine. He makes a man called Adam. This is the Quran now. And he teaches Adam all the names and says to Adam, go back and ask the angels their names. And the angels couldn't answer. He said, well, Adam informed the angels of what their names are. And Adam went to talking to them, and he said, did not I tell you that I know what you know not in words, and I know what you manifest and what you hide? And look at the words. I know what you manifest and what you hide. He's talking to angels. He ain't talking to men. Angels are men of a high level, but they have things in them that are hidden even to themselves. I got to walk and talk because this thing is powerful. Look here. Everybody all right? Listen. He says, angels are human beings, but they're human beings who have mastered certain realms that they willingly obey God. That's right. That's right. You know, when the Quran says, Sister Muhammad, that, O soul that is at rest, well pleased with thy Lord well pleased with thee, and you are in such oneness with God that you're in perfect obedience to him, then you're on an angelic realm, even though you're a human being. But there are things even in the angels that they didn't know that were there. And so God, listen to this, made Adam and told the angels, bow to him. Now, you can interpret that many ways. I'd like to give you some thought on it. I know that the true interpretation is only with Allah, but nevertheless, we are, as students, can look at what God has revealed to learn from it. All the angels were made to bow to Adam. What is that telling you? All the forces in existence are to submit to the man. But Iblis did not. Is Iblis an angel? Or is Iblis a force that comes up in us that robs us of the ability to submit? Let us see. Iblis did not submit. What was wrong with Iblis? Iblis was one of the proud ones. Uh-oh. That's a force that can mess up your life. Come on now. When you get proud. See? Somebody praise you. Oh, ain't you something, man? You. Sister, you so beautiful. Oh, I never seen anyone as beautiful as you. Before long, you begin to then you begin to look ugly and don't even realize how ugly you're looking, because real beauty ain't nothing on the outside. Real beauty comes from the inside, and the real thing, I mean, when you start getting ugly, I'm talking about your attitude, your mind, your spirit, you can destroy all the physical beauty that you have. And you can be an ugly person on the outside. and be a beautiful person on the inside, and the beauty from the inside will actually restructure the ugliness on the outside. Now, I'm just telling you the truth. Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Some of you don't think that that's real. But let me tell you something. I've seen men that want to be women. Have you? Have you seen any? They want to be women so bad they think like women. They wake up in the morning. And after they think that way a long time, you look at them, they begin to look smooth, cream puffy like, you know what I mean? Soft and sweetie like. You say, damn, I remember that nigga a few years ago, you know what I mean? That nigga used to lift pianos, you know what I mean? Look at him, he's just as sweet as he could be. Because thought is the power that changes physical reality. As a man thinketh, so is he. See that, brother and sister? Now listen, y'all all right? Now here's Iblis. This is a proud dude. God said to him, look here, man. What hindered you that you did not submit when I commanded you? This is God talking. I commanded you to bow down. Yes, sir. He said, well, I am better than he. I'm made of fire while he is made of dust. Now let's look at that. God asked him, what hindered you when I commanded you to submit? See, pride comes right up in your brain and you can't even hear the command of God. Even though God called you and order you, you tell God, you know what I'm talking about? I can't hear you because I'm better than this nigga you asking me to bow down to. And let me tell you something, brother and sister, that make a devil out of you quick. And that's why black folk don't ever succeed in organization. Because you always think you are better than those who have been elected or chosen to lead you. Look now, I'm better. Oh, hell, I graduated from Harvard. Even took a course at Scotland Yard. Who is this nigga that I should submit to him? Where's your credentials, nigga? Well, I just have a little word from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Honorable Elijah who? Yeah, I got to fix this tie. Well, I can't be raggedy. You know pride going before destruction. If I didn't fix it right, just help me. That's the mirror. Thank you, brother. I got a tan when I looked in that mirror, brother. Everybody, come on, now, let's finish this subject, because brothers and sisters, look. When you begin to think you're better than somebody, even if God order you to submit, you won't hear God. Pride is a very dangerous force that we all must learn to control, for it makes a devil out of you. And you know what makes pride? When you begin to think more of yourself than you should. You know, I mean, everybody wants to believe that there's somebody, and you are all very special. But you must leave the special place for God. See, and if you don't try to get in the center of everything, let God be God. Let him have his place. And you recognize that whatever your place is, he knows it better. So guide me, O Allah, to my place. Because I can only be comfortable in my place. But then suppose I want the uppermost seat in the house. See that seat there? That one is mine. Okay? Then God come in and assigns the seat to brother. Brother, sit down in this. What? God ain't got no sense. He can't see. Why, that nigga, I know him. And before you know it, you set yourself up to opposition. Now you've become Iblis. Iblis is only a proud, rebellious spirit, but now that spirit becomes Shaitan, Satan. Because now your evil is not confined to yourself, you're going to spread it around now. So then you go to somebody else. Now see, look, wait. You see that person that's sitting in that seat? I'm going to tell you something about that nigga. I know, you understand? Why? He smokes reefer. Yeah. Well, I seen him downtown the other night. See, now the evil out of this comes out of pride, and then envy is making a devil out of you. Because now you're working actively against somebody in an evil way. This is not the way of righteous people. But that's put in the Quran to show you how men of power can fall. Now, brothers and sisters, we've had 400 years to live under white people. We know them pretty well. This is a wicked, jealous-hearted people. It's not their color that makes them that way. It's the way they were taught by Yakub. They were taught contrary to good. They were taught to exalt their color. They were taught to rule. They were taught never to submit to the darker people. And if you look at white folk, I mean, they can't stand to have a black foreman, a black boss. Nothing black over them. They'll work to tear you down because inside they were taught not to bow down to nothing black. And their whole religion, their education, their politics revolves around putting darker people under their foot. So when you go to Christianity that's taught by white people, even by black people that are under white people, Christianity is a slave-making religion. I'm not talking about the teachings of Jesus. This is a slave-making religion that is to make you bow down to a white God and a white Jesus, seeking a white heaven with some white angels, and you want nothing to do with your black self. That is racism in the name of religion. Huh? When you go to the public school, this is what you're being fed. The superiority, the supremacy of white people over all dark people of the earth. This is their educational system. It is Yakub's mentality, a mentality of ruling the supremacy of white people. This is evil. This is devilishment. Because if white folk are angelic and nothing dark is sacred, then it justifies killing Indians. We're doing God a favor, kill all of them. They're savages, they're heathens, kill them all. And so they can go into Africa. And because of the great wealth in the Congo, kill millions of our people because these are black niggers. They don't have any soul. Cortez and all of them going into Mexico, killing the Indians wholesale. They don't have any soul. And so the police can meet you tonight with just an excuse. He pulls out his gun and blows you away because You don't need no excuse to kill a nigger. They were made that way, brothers. That's the worst of yourself on parade. How do you like it? Do you like living under white people? How many of you would like to live under him another 100 years, another 1,000 years? Would you be happy? Well, if you wouldn't be happy living under white folk another 1,000 years, will you be happy living under the manifest evil of yourselves? Then you know a little more now. If this man came from us, he's the manifestation of something that is wrong with the original man. And so, listen to my conclusion. Jesus comes to make men whole. Boy, that's heavy. Jesus comes to heal on the Sabbath day. See, this Jesus is not a man 2,000 years ago. He's a man that comes at the end of the world, of the Caucasian. But more than that, he comes in the fullness of time because he's born out of the will of the originator who wanted to see man perfect. And here comes a human being born of a woman. And he masters all these forces by God's will and permission. And he grows and ascends into the heavens from death. It don't mean that he died and on the third day he rose again and flew all up in the sky, please. It means that you and I are dead to the real power that we have as human beings. You're not operating on the plane that you can operate on, so you're dead on that higher level. And this is why you say, heaven is my home. I'm going home. Home where? You ain't going in the sky, but you're going up to the higher regions of knowledge and power where you belong. You don't belong on this earthly plane. You got to get on up to higher ground. But that is not dying and flying away. It's taking on the wings of knowledge and coming out of a death-like state where the power of God that is within you is locked and buried. So Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Ain't no kingdom to come out of the sky. The kingdom is coming up out of you when you are made awake and aware of the knowledge of yourself, and you rid yourself like the parable of the wheat and the tare that seems to want to choke out the wheat. There's something in you that want to choke out the life of truth. It ain't nowhere else. It's in you. It's that pride. It's that vanity. It's that envy, that jealousy, that niggardliness, that desire to compete with God for the uppermost place, the uppermost seat. That's Satan working in you. That's Iblis that has become a devil. You got to choke it, pluck it up, pull it out. That's what the kingdom of heaven is. It's likened unto a man sowing seeds. And an enemy crept in the night and sowed tares in among the wheat. See? A man is coming and sowing truth into your heart to wake you up. And then from your own heart, here comes a whisper. You let that man take your reapers away from you, brother? I knowed I was coming in to hear Farrakhan rap tonight, and I had some crack in the glove compartment. His Farrakhan has talked me out of my crack. But the minute you get out the door, a whisper comes up from the heart. The hell he did. I'm gonna go and crack that glove compartment, and I'm gonna get me some crack tonight. I'll hear Farrakhan tomorrow. See, there's a whisper coming up from you. I know I'm wrong to want that brother's wife. I know I'm wrong to want that sister's husband. I know I'm wrong to want to do this to deprive my brother of honor. I know I'm wrong to envy him for whatever he has, but I just can't help myself. Oh, shut up. You can always help yourself if you want to. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you and I are worst enemies. Now that you know yourself and you know the white man, you shouldn't follow him. We can't follow white people, brothers and sisters. I listen to them preach on the radio and television. I listen to them. I get some things from them sometime. But I say, I can't follow you with your, you don't have the depth. You know, you trying to get the spirit that I'm born baptized in. I see you, you know, but I can't follow you. You've got to follow us today. You can't follow white people in their madness. You must follow God today. Now, beloved brothers and sisters, you know, I have, there's so much more that could be said on this, but I think we've done enough for tonight. Yakub is real. He did make a devil, the white people. But the devil that he made is not the flesh. The devil that he made is the teachings that shape their mind. Their weak flesh and weak blood and weak bone only made them a better receptacle for weak ideas. But if you could kill the idea in their mind, that flesh would accept the truth. And that truth could make that flesh live. Do you follow what I'm saying? Master Farad Muhammad's mother is a white woman. The messenger never referred to her as a devil. His father worked with her, cleaned her up, made her ready to receive a seed that would bring forth a child of destiny. You and I are made of filthy people. But a work is being done on us right now to clean us up, to make us ready. Now look at you, mighty black people. The strongest of the strong. Look at what you've been through. From the beginning, you weathered the splitting of the moon. You weathered going down into the jungles of East Asia. And you mastered the jungles. And you were brought out of Africa into America and turned upside down. But look at you, you're still here, getting stronger every day. Now what God wants to do for you is to empty this old vessel out of the foolishness and filth of this world and deposit in your head supreme guidance and his own spirit. I am anxious to rebuild the nation of Islam. I cannot do it by myself. I need help. For the first 9 years of this rebuilding effort, it's been like a man going back into his mother's womb. I thought about that. You know, Nicodemus, you know, can a grown man return into his mother's womb for the second time? He can. But we returned into the womb of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for the second time. And into that womb, we started to grow again. And if you watch as the baby makes circuits while it's in the stomach, it's turning. And as it's turning, it's building, getting stronger and stronger. For 9 years, I made a circuit from west to east. I woke up in the west, I traveled to the east, backward and forward for 9 years. The last great trip I went from west all the way to Asia and back again to the west. And October the 7th, a birth took place. Brother Farrakhan actually was born on that night. The little fledgling Nation of Islam was born on that night. And many people came to the birth. They thought it was just the birthday of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and a tribute to him, but they actually came to witness what had been destroyed come back again. Listen now. The laborers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad appointed me to sit in his seat in his absence. But they were not prepared to accept me. And the real truth was, I was not prepared either to sit in the seat. So they rejected me. And in rejecting me, they rejected his intelligent knowledge of the future, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's knowledge of the future. So they went and did their thing, and as they did what they wanted to do, their world began to tumble, which was in fact the Nation of Islam. It began to be destroyed. And we started 9 years ago, two of us, Brother Jabril and myself. And 9 years later, it's not accidental that I am now living in the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's not an accident. I came from nothing. God brought me and set me down in the palace of my father. Look at this now. And those that did not respect me watched me from a distance. They did not help me. They watched me. God had me growing and proving myself. The president attacked. The Congress attacked. The Jews attacked. The black leaders attacked. Farrakhan rolled right on over them. I mean, it's just true. It's true. Look, they thought they would have destroyed us by now, brother and sister. But if God be for you, who can be against you? That's the point I'm driving home. God was building me and preparing me for a job. On October the 7th, I came forward like any other baby. But I came forward with the crown of my father on my head. And the enemies that disliked my father and me, their hearts began to change. And they said, well, Farrakhan has certainly proved that he was the one that we should listen to, because he brought this thing, by God's grace, all the way back from nothing. But don't give me no credit. Because see, the credit really belongs to Allah. Because I was not conscious of one thing. I was like something in the womb. You heard me talking about in the womb, and nobody there with you but God. The head don't see the tail, and the tail don't see the head, and the ear don't see the eye. Everything just going on as it should be, because a mighty director is forming things. I'm just making circuits, going back and forth, you know, and you could tell something was going on. Now I've come forward now. The whole world is looking now. Wallace D. Muhammad, Imam Waris Uddin, pardon me, came on October the 7th. I don't know what the government felt, but they must have said, good God from Zion. What is this? So they're afraid of Islam. And if this man and Farrakhan, these two hook up, and a good rapport comes between these two that we thought would surely kill each other, the future of Islam in America is exceedingly bright, that means our future is very dark. Now look, brother, they're thinking. I closed my speech talking about how I was taken up on the wheel and given a vision by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from the wheel of Reagan and his chiefs of staff, and they're planning a war. Now that was a vision given to me on September the 17th, 1985. September 1986, it breaks in the Washington Post, in the New York Times, that Reagan and the boys did meet to plan a war and a disinformation campaign. So my vision is corroborated as the truth, and Reagan knew the moment I said it. Reagan said, "What? We know the wheel is real." You mean Elijah talked to that cat up on the wheel? Reagan, just like Nebuchadnezzar, called his soothsayers in. Tell me about this man Farrakhan. Is he a real thing, or he just some crazy nigga like the rest of these radical niggas that's out there? I mean, is he the real thing? Is God real? You see the white folk look like they backed up a minute. They only backed up to check their strategy. They haven't stopped thinking, because our presence is the end of their world. They're not making no peace with us. They're reassessing how to destroy us. They sent agents in among us. Oh, poor agents. You should be ashamed of yourself, being an agent for white folk in this day of enlightenment, working against your people. Some agent goes downstairs and busts our boiler. It's going to cost us $16,000 to put a new boiler in the final carbon. Well, you happy? You say, well, they're spending more money. Good. But the more we make them broke, we'll break them. How you going to break a man that got the hearts of the people, man? Please. $16,000 can't break these people in here, much less the people that's in the street. You just crazy, brother. Bust the valve on the gas, put a little wood in it, and then put black tape around it so gas will be seeping out slowly. I mean, somebody in the building, somebody that said they a Muslim or something. I mean, just devils. As fast as I try to get them in, there are people that drive them out. So look, it's nobody's fault, you know. I mean, I have to take complete responsibility for all of this. But what I'm going to suggest or say to you is this. Brothers and sisters, look. For 9 years, I've allowed all my helpers in truth to really do what was in their heart and mind to do in the way of helping me with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work. And they did the best they could, some of them, and others took advantage of that. But for the most part, they did the very best they could. And it's wrong, you know. I mean, you know my spirit. You feel my spirit. You come here, you know that I love you. I mean, you just know that. But if you don't get that same feeling, that same spirit from others, it turns you away. You know, for 2 years we've been trying to build a restaurant on the next block. This is the truth. If the man was here, he would have to confess. I literally cussed him out one day, the architect, not the architect, the construction man, and our business manager. I cussed so loud till you could hear me at the top floor cussing down into the basement. But I told them, I said, man, you know, you all are working against me. I said, you hear me telling the people this, that, and the other? And it's as though my word don't have no meaning, that I'm just here talking and it don't ever come to pass. It undermines my own leadership. But God is so great. You know, he makes you to see, well, wait a minute, there's something more to this. And you be patient. And it's one thing or another. Finally, they got the permits. I don't know. They said it'd be up by February, but I'm scared to say that it will. I mean, when you got money and can't build, that's terrible. The banks ain't going to help us, but we don't need the bank. We our own bank, you know. But still, by the help of God, it should be up. But, you know, when a baby comes forth from the womb, what does it need? It needs help. It needs nurturing. And you don't have to worry about teaching the baby nothing. Because some other power is teaching the baby for that first year. And in the first 3 months, it demonstrates more growth than anything you've ever witnessed. And in the first year of its life, that baby learns to control everything that is its own, like its hands, its feet, you know. And then after nearly 2 years old, it gets control of all of its bodily functions. Maybe 2 or so, where it will tell you, I need to go to the toilet, or I need to potty mommy, or whatever. That's control, isn't it? Well, the minister came to birth on October the 7th. And the first thing that the minister has to do is get complete and total control of the Nation of Islam, so that every aspect of the nation reflects his thinking, his spirit. Not that he is the spirit or the thinking that it should reflect, but he is from God. And I say that without making any apology. I am from God, not just say from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I am from God for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm not going to say this from my mouth. I'm saying it from his mouth, but I've grown to understand it. He told me one day, he said, brother, I did not make you. I said, oh, yes, you did. He said, no, brother, I didn't make you. I said, oh, yes, sir, dear apostle, you did make me. He said, brother, who is the teacher here? I said, you, sir. He said, well, all right, then. He said, brother, I taught you just like I taught every other minister. He never gave me any special teachings. He never took me aside in a corner and filled me up with any special knowledge of nothing. Because after Malcolm defected, he told me to my face, Malcolm would have never been such a formidable enemy to me if I had not taught him so much of the prophecies. He said, but I will never teach another minister like I taught Malcolm until I have thoroughly tried him. So he was letting me know that whatever I got, God would have to give it to me, because he wasn't going to give me nothing no more than he gave anybody else. So when he heard me on the tapes putting the teachings together like God was guiding me to do, he told me, he says, brother, I didn't make you. God made you for me. So when I say I am from God and for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'm not saying that in a vain way. And you can be like Iblis and say, oh, I'm better than that nigga. I know. I mean, look, there's a lot of you that know a lot more than I do. I know that. But that does not negate what I'm saying. What you know, you should help me with what you know, so that I can help the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to make this nation for all of us the way it should be. So I must get control of all of this. And the believers have done the best, but their service has not been the best. Their service in terms of putting out the tapes, putting out the work, in the labor, you know, it's just not been what it should be. And that's my fault. Because I didn't, you know, take them like a slave master and say, brother, do this, sister, do that. I was busy growing into this myself. So now that I've come to birth and I'm determined by the grace of God to get control totally of the nation, and they're not going to fight me to do that because I earned the right. I earned the right to guide. And they know that, and they're not going to fight me for that. They're beautiful brothers and sisters. But I'm going to close down the Final Call building for a few weeks. And don't get upset now. I'm closing this place down, and I'm going to get it right for you. And the next time you come, and I open the doors, from the front door all the way to the back, when you come in, you will be happy the way you are treated, the way you are handled, and it'll give us time to fix the boiler, but it'll also give us time to fix some heads that need some fixing. As of today, there's one laborer in the nation, and that's myself. And all the rest of us, by the grace of God, I want everyone to please take guidance from us. And let's do this right for our people's sake and for our own sake. We can't do a sloppy job because this is too important. This work is too important. There are too many people depending on us. There's no place else for our people to go. I mean, there just is no place. And if we fail our people, brothers and sisters, and we send them to oblivion, because if the nation fails, then what is there for our people to look forward to? You have done well. Now, I'm not saying that you haven't done well. That's not the point. But we've got to do better. That's the point. The point is that the harvest of our people is ripe, but the laborers are few, and they're not worthy to reap the people. The people are ready. I mean, everywhere you go, the people want what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is offering. They want it, but they're afraid of being mistreated. They don't want to be mistreated. They don't want to be mishandled. They have their hang-ups, and we have our hang-ups. We can't be so hard on the people as though we are such perfect little lambs of God, perfect little hams of Satan. No. Just a little joke. But nobody wants to be a ham. And really nobody wants to be a lamb except you're under the guidance of God. Because a sheep is a terrible thing to be if you're under Satan's guidance. So look, I know you like this place, right? You get a lot of good teachings here. But then when it's closed for a few weeks, I want you to go away and think. Just think about what would happen if this wasn't here no more. Just think about what it means to have a place to go that you can hear some teaching that elevates you. But more important than that, The teaching is only a word that means nothing unless it's brought into reality. I want all of you to help me make the word real. I think I have qualified, intelligent, talented people. Not only out here, but around me. And I think that I need to be better by them to give them guidance, proper guidance, and hands-on control to make sure that that guidance is carried all the way down to the man that's on the door, to the sister that's in that check room, to any and the brother that's in that check room, to the person that's taking your charity. Everything has to be made better. And that may mean I have to shift gears and change up all the people that I got. But it don't make no difference to me. Because if I have to change everybody, you will help me. Oh, I see a devil already popping up in here. Ooh. Brother, if you knew what Allah showed me of you, you would go right away and change. Up in that third balcony, the second balcony. Man, evil nigga. Boy, Yakub ain't got nothing on you. You know, I'm going to tell you something, believers. Some of you are going to try me. And I will show you very quick who I am. Yes, right. And you're going to be surprised. Some of you little crazy Negroes, your heart's so filled with darkness and hate. Yes, sir. But if you make the little move that you got in your crazy brain, you won't last. You won't last. You either going to help me or you get out of the way. So this is Wednesday. The date is October the 22nd. Take out your calendars. This building will reopen what is 2 weeks from tonight? November what? November the 5th? Right. 2 weeks from tonight is November the 5th? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks from tonight is November what? November the 5th? The 5th. Okay. Maybe that's Sunday. The Wednesday, the 5th, is it the 9th or the 10th of November?
The 9th would be the Sunday.
The 9th? The 9th of November. Put that down on your calendar. I hope to see you on the 9th. And when you come back, if you care to, the building will look a little different. And the people hopefully will be a little different. Everything must change. Yes, sir. That's the way of time. the business aspect of this building, Brother Wazir and his staff will remain to keep the books in order, and there'll just be a telephone service in. And those of you who want to order products, you can continue to call in your order. Sometimes you're late in getting them anyway. So 2 weeks and restructuring everything so that we can get things done. Won't take long to do it. I just need to get in and do it. God is not going to give me any peace until I do what I have to do for the nation of Islam. I've been all over the world. And the people that need the work is the nation of Islam. When I say the nation of Islam, I'm talking about internal and then the external nation. We need everything concentrated now on building us. And I say this, when we get real tight, strong, see a snitch and an enemy that's in here among us, he'll show up. Yes, sir. I'm going to say this publicly, because I really don't give a damn about the consequences. A dear brother and or sister, if you're on the payroll for the police or the FBI, I don't mind you being here. I really don't mind. Because we're not doing anything that we would be ashamed of. So you can be here. That's okay. And even if we knew you was the police, we would not bother you. However, if you work in an evil way to try and break up something good for our people, then we will kill you. Yes, sir. In a speech that I made in Washington, D.C. in 1961, I said to the government of America, if you send your agents among us to disrupt us and do to us what was done in the 60s, and we find them to be that, we will kill them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chop off their heads. Yes, sir. And bring their heads to you. Yes, sir. Brothers, don't you be no damn fool. Right. Because, see, the white man can't hide your black behind from us. No, wait. They could change your identity and send you somewhere. And they make you think that they're powerful enough to protect you. That's right. Yes. They don't give 2 cents. Right. They'll use you and then turn you over to us. That's how wicked the enemy is. Don't do those things, brother. And don't do it, sister. Don't come in here sent by no white man to play no games here. If you came for that purpose and you see that we are decent people, righteous people, struggling for righteousness, don't come in trying to tear this up. Because if we catch you, sister, same penalty of death fall on you. It don't please me to kill you, but what the hell? You trying to kill us? Look, you would bring drugs. That's right. you would set us up to be killed by the police. So your penalty have to be what you seeking for us. You seeking death for us, we have to give you what you seek for us. And I don't want none of you, if I give the order, carry it out. Yes, sir. Carry it out. Carry it out. That's what my father told me. I'm telling you. Don't worry about no police.
Yes, sir.
We just do what you told. We'll handle them. Police know us. They know that we don't play. And they know if we taking care of our business, they mind their business.
That's right.
We ain't no damn gangsters. We ain't no criminals.
No, sir.
We're not no dope sellers,
No, sir.
number runners,
No, sir.
or pimps.
No, sir. That's right.
We don't play that crap.
No, sir.
We're trying to be clean, upright men and women.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we want of you, but we ain't no faggots.
That's right.
I want you to understand that. We will kill you.
Right.
So if you got playing in your mind, stay the hell away from us. When this door closed, you get the hell out of here and don't you never come back. You understand? And that goes for Muslims. If you ain't for coming under this kind of guidance and this kind of control and this kind of direction so we can make a nation of value for our people, then I don't give a damn if I never see you again. But we intend to carry out the orders of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and build this nation with you or without you. Okay, I take it then by your stand that you tired of foolishness too. I take it by your stand that you want to see not a word being spoken, but some reality of the word being made manifest. I take it that all these men want to be made into a strong brotherhood.
Yes, sir.
Not no little panty waist. But men that will protect whatever we build.
Yes, sir.
Ain't gonna be no Revlon taking over nothing here. Is that right? Oh, yeah. I mean, the nerve of them devils. They gonna put Johnson and Gardner and Soft Sheen and everybody that's black out of business. Why? Because they know they got the power of the government to back them up. Well, I say to the government, and I'll say it publicly, we got the power of God to back us up, and we will take care of all the business that's necessary. Thank you. To all of the laborers and the believers and visitors and friends, I thank you so very much for all the help, the encouragement that you have given to me and to us this first 9 years of our work in the rebuilding. Now we've come to birth and we're a fledgling little small group that must be nurtured to strength. If you're serious about this commitment, as I am serious, then the laborers, we ain't got no 2 weeks. We working 18 hours a day to map this thing out and get it moving. And when you come back on that Sunday, you come back not just to hear some teaching, because I'm getting tired of doing all of this. Come back ready. Let's go to work. Let's roll up the sleeves. Go to work. I love T.L. Barrett. I love Reverend Hardy, Clay Evans. See all these preachers? They're good. We got to give them a good example. Don't you know if they see us setting up business and school and farm and factory, we can't keep that to ourselves. We show our brothers how to do that, because if every church in Chicago did the same thing that we were doing, the people would benefit. Is that right? So this ain't no exclusive thing for us. This is for all of our people. And if you don't want to share what you got with all of our people, don't walk with me. If you don't want to see me bridge the gap between the black and the reds, don't walk with me. If you don't want to see me bridge the gap between the black and the brown, I'm talking about Mexico, then don't walk with me. Because the Jesus that I'm looking at in the book told the disciples, go ye to the lost sheep. But after he had worked with the lost sheep for a while, he said, go ye into all the world and preach this gospel to every kindred, every nation, and every tongue. So if you don't want a worldwide movement, don't bother with me. Don't bother with me. If you want to keep the messenger's teaching local so that you can look at it and say, this is mine. I got it, and I ain't sharing it. We black, and this is black, and we are black, and this is black. If this is what you want 2 weeks from now, I don't expect to see you. I'm giving you your salute tonight. Because black means it's universal. And if it's universal, it belongs to every member of the human family. What I taught tonight, white folk need to know it. Yellow folk, brown folk need to know who you are. And who they are. And what they can become. So if you're with me.
Yes, sir.
You with me?
Yes, sir.
You think about it. You got 2 weeks. You don't have to give me your decision tonight. But if on that Sunday we open up and I don't see nobody here but me, I'll be here. And as it was only 2 of us in the beginning,
all right,
I can start again.
It'll be 3 that Sunday.
It'll be 3 that Sunday. That's right. Where are we going? I mean, if we don't do this, what else are we going to do? If we don't work to wake up our people, there ain't nothing worth living for. I don't want to live no more. If I can't help black people up out of this condition, I'd rather be dead. And I ain't going to let no cracker in Washington or Chicago, City Hall, stop me from helping black people. What about you? Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You know, you really have made me very happy tonight. You know, I was surprised. When I came out, I looked up, I said, something going on here tonight? But you encourage me greatly. And I love you greatly, and it pleases me to live my life and give my life to see the nation where it should be. And I know that in you, right in this audience, there are brilliant, brilliant minds, male and female, that just need a chance.
Yes, sir.
And by the help of Allah, we're going to give you that chance. Help me, please. Help me to help our people. And let's stop talking it and let's start doing it. Will you help me do it? I know that they're going to say, oh, there go that Farrakhan threatening people again. But I said to them, if I had ordered Mr. Coleman killed, he would have been dead the next day. I know what I'm dealing with here. I haven't ordered no black person hurt since I have been the minister of the Nation of Islam. Never. I love black people too much. I take abuse first and last and then some more. I don't order none of these to harm nobody. Even when people have robbed us, and I know they have robbed us, and the brothers wanted to kill them, I say, no, leave them alone. The money we'll get, we can't produce another life. But a rotten, low-down snitch.
Go ahead.
A rotten, low-down agent of Satan coming in here to try and disrupt what righteous people are trying to do. What should we do for some tramp like this? I think so. Catch you destroying a boiler. I think we ought to chop that man's hands off or something like that. Get a special meat cleaver for your hand. Send your hand down to City Hall or wherever the orders came from. But you that are trying to help us into death, we don't have anything for you but death. So you stop that. If you're into that, cut that out. Don't do that. It's not intelligent. The white man don't need you to spy. He got listening devices. He could stay downtown, hear everything we say. Oh, if he tell you come and tell us what Farrakhan is doing, he already know what we doing. He got 100-man unit that he's paying money to follow me around and tap my phone and do all of that. He don't need to make a fool out of you. You need money? Come on here, we'll give you a job. Thank you. It's been an enjoyable evening. Thank you very much. Well, oh my goodness, it's late. 10:25, but Sister Najib, I want to see you afterwards. Just a small announcement. Brother Khalid is going to dismiss us. Where's Brother Ahmed Tijani? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got to have some charity, right? And you know, while you are home this next 2 weeks, you can tune in to broadcast Sunday. Okay? If it be the will of Allah, I may just broadcast from my home Sunday. I just may talk to you for an hour and see if BEE will hook us up in the house. And pretty soon, if it be the will of Allah, we're going to have a satellite dish that you don't have to worry. All over America, they just put up a little microwave and we'll be coming live all over the country and in touch with the world. Just help me do what needs to be done, and God will help you. I guess I said everything, right? So tune in on Sunday, WBEE. We'll all be home together. And here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to eat a meal tomorrow night. And if you can, I'd like us all to fast and eat again on Sunday evening for 3 days. Now, wait. Have a seat 1 minute, please. Fasting is difficult. And I'm not going to tell you all to hurt yourself. Listen. But I want you to try this. Listen. Because the time is coming when food is going to be very scarce. Yes, and you're going to have to learn to fast and feed the children. And so you might as well discipline yourself. This is a wonderful discipline. If you eat tomorrow night, listen, but eat well. Don't gorge yourself, but eat well. If you know how to make a good soup, eat a soup, a little salad, and a nice plate of food. And then on Friday morning, you wake up, you can have a little juice. You can have a little tea. Or if you drink coffee, coffee. Water. But no solid food for the whole day. Now the first day is the hardest day of all. And I'll tell you how to get through it. When you hear your stomach talking, you talk back to it. Tell it like this. Look, fella, I'm not putting nothing in you until Sunday night so you can make all the noise you want to. No, you think I'm joking, but I'm serious. I'm not joking. I know somebody think you crazy talking to your stomach like that. But if you talk to your stomach, I mean, it'll growl now. It'll act a fool after you talk to it because it's rebelling, you see. It's like bliss, you know. But you talk and say, look, I'm not putting nothing in. I don't care what you do. And before you know it, it'll just subside. You go get something hot and put it in and drink some water. Drink a little bit more water than you usually do. Then the next morning, when you get up, that's 24 hours you've done. Look in your face. Look at your eyes. Look at your skin. You'll see a change. You'll have more energy, not less. You'll go to work, and you'll have more energy to work, not less, more. And you'll find you will not require as much sleep. And you'll wake up earlier, and you wonder, you may think that there's ghosts or something bothering you. You just can't sleep. Because food, though it's such a wonderful thing to eat, it really keeps you here and it takes you away from here. So if you can make it one day and you just feel I just can't go another day, go ahead and eat. But at least you did 24 hours. And that's more than you did before. That's a start. Those of you who can make it past the first day, go ahead, kick it into the second day. And you know what? You ought to call each other and say, how you doing? Now don't jive, I'm struggling. And you encourage each other. And on that third day, just turn on BEE. And if it be the will of Allah, I'll be there. I'll be talking to you and your stuff. And if you fast, then you pray and ask God for the things that you want. you're sacrificing food for his pleasure, ask him in that state for some of the things that you want for yourself. And then I'm going to ask you to pray for the Nation of Islam. Pray that we, who are entrusted with the responsibility of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's great work, carry that work on in a manner that he and Allah would be pleased with our work. And ask Allah to strengthen you, that when this building reopens, you will come back with a renewed zeal to go to work. And those of you who are in positions of authority, listen. If we change positions and put new people into this position, that don't fret over that, because these are not permanent posts. You know, I mean, we're all students trying to learn our labor. So we're going to give other people a chance to help us in this labor. So be gracious. And let's work hard as a team to make the nation successful. What I want to see is us make room for every one of these that want to help, that there's something for them to do. Help me, please. Thank you very much. And I guess that's it. Steve, it's good to see you. And your lecture is next Tuesday. Where's that again, sir? Say it again, please.
330 East 37th Street.
330 East. Would you stand up, Steve? This is Steve Coakley. Now, brothers and sisters, since the final call is not going to be open for a few weeks, you know, Brother Steve has a lot to say, a lot of information to give. Why don't we go where he is and support him? Will you do that? And while the mosque is under recess and renovation and reorganization and whatnot, there'll be no FOI, there'll be no MGT. The paper, the Final Call newspaper, will be produced on Friday. I mean, it will be ready on Friday. When will it go to print, brother? Monday morning. Monday morning. Well, this will be the last paper that we will produce for a while. We intend to mic everything down so that paper will come out right. Not that the brother's doing an excellent job with the paper. I really like his work. But everything is going to reflect where we are, where I am, where we are, and where we want to go. And it won't take us long. We just have to plan it, mic it down, and just go on and do it. Thank you. So, I'm anxious to see that paper. I guess that's about all. Let's see. Did I leave out anything, Brother Colin? Covered the waterfront. Anybody, did I leave out anything? Anybody can? Sister Ava, did I leave out anything? Well, I'm going to leave out. And thank you. No, I ain't. I'm sorry?
Thank you.
Oh, brother.
All praise to Allah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Hope to see you in 2 weeks, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.